All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to the RnRGzrs show. Sure appreciate you showing up. As always, if you can, subscribe to our page, give a like to some of our videos. That would really help out with the YouTube algorithm. And as always, welcome to my friend, longtime friend and co-host, Doc Vox. What's shaking, Doc?
Doing quite well, Murph. Ready to talk about some rock and roll. Had a couple shows we went to this week.
Yes, we
A
did.
little bit going on in the news. So, ready to share it with the good folks.
Well, it's gonna be a rough one. I caught something from somebody within my universe. There's been some sickness going around, whatever. I got it, but we're gonna power through, man. I've got the power of margarita on my side. You can't go wrong with that, brother. So we're gonna trudge right along. Yeah, a lot of news, crying out loud. A lot of famous people in the news, and that starts out with maybe one of the most famous. That would be Ozzy. Good old
Yeah,
Ozzy. Well, and yeah, go ahead, lay it on a little bit of
yeah.
the story
Ozzy's
there.
kind of always in the news, really, for one thing or another. But Ozzy has decided to move back to the UK. He has
Right.
decided that I I I don't know. It kind of I'm getting different vibes from what he's saying and what Sharon's saying.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of getting from Ozzy. It's kind of almost like retirement time, like that's where he's going to retire, and he doesn't want to be buried in Forest Lawn, whatever cemetery where all the other celebrities are buried, and I'm sure he wants to have a good old cemetery back home in Birmingham, and
Birmingham, England.
Sharon makes it like they're just kind of how she put it. The United States is not so united, and it's kind
Right.
of a weird place to live right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're pulling up stakes and heading back to the UK.
Yeah, as he says, he does not want to die in the U.S. and be amongst the many stars buried at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in
Yeah,
Los Angeles. Well, stars ain't dying, Ozzy, by the violence for the most part. Regular Americans are, but he's right there. Not very united right now. Uh, they can cushion themselves considering their wealth. I think what they put up there a mansion for 15 million or something
oh
like
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
in Beverly Hills, swank Beverly Hills, if I might.
yeah.
But so it's not like they're lacking for security or whatnot. But I see their point with things are crazy around here.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on what the kids are doing. Jack and Kelly. I think Amy's kind of off doing her own thing, the older one that we never really saw on the show. But
Yeah, right, right.
um,
I wonder if they're citizens. Do you know if they're citizens? I'm not sure.
I believe so. I'm 100% on that, but I would wager that they are. But
Uh,
yeah, we'll see. Ozzy's, like I said, I kind of see it as them kind of retiring a little bit and just going back to home. But again, what's to keep them here? Things are
right,
getting
right.
crazy. So
Yeah, true that. For crying out loud, it's just whacked out. And jeez, this cat, this cat.
talking
Good
about
old
always in the news.
always in the news. This guy's out of his mind. Tommy Lee, of course. Who else? Crying out loud. What a nut job this guy is. My God. He's just he's out there. Geez. We've been talking about him for what? All summer basically. He's been
I
making
believe we've brought
moves.
him up on every show. Honestly, I think we've brought up something about Tommy Lee or Motley Crue on every show.
You're probably right. Yeah, I believe you're correct about that.
You
But
know,
Jiminy Creepers, he can't keep out of the news. And at some point, grow up. Grow up. You got grown up kids. Oh, jeez, poor kids. Oh, what the hell's
yeah.
dad
This week it
screwing
kind of
up
goes back
now?
to what we talked about last week, where he had his full frontal nudity pictures on Instagram or one of those
Right,
forums.
right.
But so now he's gone on stage and he's kind of giving his tale of woe of how he went on a bender. They had a 2 week break for the tour, and he went on a bender and got drunk and blah blah blah. And it's like, so what, Tommy? Come on, you're 58 years old now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But then he goes on and I guess he's trying to turn about his fair play kind of thing. And in past shows he's always encouraged the women to show their memories, shall we say?
Oh
And
yeah, good
and
call.
so he's encouraged the gentleman to pull out their genitalia. And
Well,
I don't think there were any takers. I hope there weren't any takers.
I think for the women, I believe we call them bodacious tatas,
What they
if
just
you will.
as well.
Bod-
I'm trying to keep it, in
well,
layman terms.
that's
Yeah.
clean. Yeah, yeah, okay.
No, I'm trying
But
not so technical terms as that. Okay. Yeah. Well,
it's just crazy, and it stayed up for a while too. They eventually pulled it down though. Instagram and Facebook took it down for violating their nudity rules.
but even then, it was up far longer than a lot of other stuff has been up, and who knows?
Plenty of
Maybe it was just
people.
one of those things that just slipped through the cracks, or
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows?
What a
But
nut job, though.
Now Tommy's trying to, I don't know, he's kind of trying to milk it for all it's worth. And in a recent show, hey, you want to see my wiener?
Yeah.
And which,
And
by the way, I've been to Iggy Pop shows where he's done that shit for real. But by the way,
Iggy's the real deal, yeah.
and he pulls out a dachshund, right? He pulls out a wiener dog. Yeah,
out of
yeah,
his
yeah.
crotch. Yeah.
So.
What the hell? I mean, another one of those mentally ill people. I tell you, I talk about Hollywood being mentally ill. There's mentally ill right there. You got enough money, you don't need
may be if he isn't, he may become the saddest rock star ever, quite honestly. I mean, this guy's just so craved for attention, and he's getting the tattoos on his face, and there's no limits with this guy. And okay, we get it. You're the drummer of Motley Crue. We get it. And we all know your past and your history and all that. We all know you got a big wang, and we all know all that. So. I don't know. Let's move on to something else.
Exactly. Enough with Tommy Lee, crying out loud. But they'll keep on going. We'll be seeing his antics, I'm sure, for a long time, since they're going to be stretching out their tour, obviously. So go for it, Tommy. Embarrass your kids some more. I'd be embarrassed. Jeez, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for his kids, crying out loud. Okay.
Yeah. At some point, I guess they just got to disconnect themselves from it. But who knows? Anyway.
Yeah. Another story that we've talked about quite a bit. Nita Strauss, leaving the Alice Cooper band and to pursue, Demi Lovato, pursue a career with Demi Lovato's band. Maybe she's pursuing Demi Lovato. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I don't judge.
Careful how you word that, Murph.
Exactly, true that, huh? Jeez, but article come up on how she's she left Alice Cooper, obviously in good terms. That's the thing about, a serious businessman like Cooper. You leave with good terms, you can come back. Who knows? And she's talking about, this Demi Lovato thing doesn't mean forever. I could always return to Alice Cooper. Case in point, he brought back Kane Roberts after decades because they, good relationships. He doesn't burn bridges, or they don't burn bridges, and so people are speculating online, she's already sick of Demi Lovato and all this stuff, and I don't know. I gotta think she did that for to make more money to further her solo projects. That's one rumor going around. I sort of agree with that. She's got to keep.
Yeah, probably get her name out there a little bit. Have a different audience, probably. Yeah, sure. I can see that.
So that's probably how that's going. So always leaving good terms. I guess they have a farewell dinner or something like that.
Yeah, they have apparently. I guess he does this with regular band members when they leave, but they call it a hiatus dinner, and they all get together, band members, crew, or whatnot, and good luck. We love you. You're always welcome back, and they go on their way. So yeah, it sounds like Anita may be having some second thoughts on that. I'm sure she sold it. It's an all girl band situation. She's trying to get a harder sound. I'm sure she really, kind of sold her on all that. But hey, man, playing with Alice Cooper's that's
that's pretty. That's a high mark on your resume for sure. And and Alice Cooper, she did have two other guitarists with her on stage, so maybe she enjoys being, more of an important part.
Yeah, I'm sure she's trying to advance her
blending in with two other guitarists, and all that. It just sort of loses the uniqueness of her playing. Although they let her wail on the leads and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. Good for her for not burning bridges. Boy, in the rock, it's easy to do in the rock world. You see it all the time. Jeez.
Yeah, but
So
Alice Cooper's just he's like the easiest going guy, man. He's just,
he's legend.
yeah,
Like he said, he owns Hollywood or
yeah, he
Halloween.
just,
He owns Halloween. That's
yeah,
what he said when somebody asked him about that. He said, "I own Halloween, pal," and he does. He's legend, big time
yeah,
legend.
truly,
So
true
geez,
icon, truly.
good for him, man. He's the best. Coming up next, we've been talking about this Pantera reunion.
Yeah,
I'm getting excited about that. I hope they come around the Chicago area, brother, because we're going for sure.
I'm sure they will. They're starting off in South America. I
Are
guess
they
they got a
really?
couple in South America and a couple festivals in Mexico City, or maybe it's 2 days at the same festival. I can't remember.
Aruba.
But anyway,
All right.
something along those lines. They're down south. So
Oh.
but the word is Zach is using all of Dimebag's gear, or the exact
How
gear.
about that? That's
Yeah, that's
very
pretty
cool.
cool.
Good for
So
him.
he's hired his guitar tech. He's keeping his own guitar tech because he's been in love with this guy forever or whatnot. But he's having the other guy from that was Dimebag Darrell's guitar tech kind of be consultant on the
Well,
tour and
he said
make sure he's using the right equipment and setting it up the
dialing
right
in the
way. And
sound. He's going to
yeah,
dial in Dimebag sound.
yeah.
And
So
either way, I don't care. Zach could have his own. The songs are going to be great. I'm glad they're doing it. It's great to hear some Pantera music live by some legendary
it's
players.
just cool that they're it just shows the
They're
attention to
honoring.
detail that they're
Yeah,
that they're doing this tour with, and
that's really
trying
cool.
to make it as close as possible. I mean,
And,
and plus too, kind of keep it in the family, giving the guy a gig,
yeah, that too
Sure.
cool. And you can't complain about the lineup. I mean, come on, Zach Wild. You know, it's not like they found some. They've got some no name. That they found at
Yeah,
a local bar. I mean, it's
right.
going to be legendary. This is and stop your bitching, people. It's a tribute.
Yeah,
It's not pan. It's a tribute thing, and
yeah.
I'm good
So I
with
guess
that.
they got the trailer has come out. I guess the tagline's kind of for the brothers, for the fans, for the legacy.
Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
it's kind of
that's a good thing, man. That's very
yeah,
cool. So good for them. You know, like I say, that's gonna be hopefully a winter project for us. We're gonna be even though the our summer concert series is gonna be coming to an end. Well, actually, we have to wait a month now for our
yeah. For
next
our
show,
last one,
which really
yeah,
sucks. Now, which is interesting. If I may divert, go elsewhere with the conversation. Five Finger Death Punches. We're going to be seeing them in 4 weeks or so, a month or so. It's the last
yeah.
show of the season for us. And I hear a lot of different things about them. I've got a friend whose daughter says when she heard about possibly going to Five Finger Death Punch, oh, they suck. So I don't know. We'll have to look into that because there's I believe some controversy about them. So we'll look into that one of the next shows before we go.
Yeah, honestly, they're kind of a little bit out of my off my radar. I don't know too much about them.
Same here. But I'm gonna.
For what I do know is exactly that they're kind of a polarizing band that you kind of you love them or hate them kind of
well,
thing.
we'll look into that before we go see them.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a great one. Let's expound on that. I believe there's going to be 4 bands there. I'm not sure what the first band is going to be, but the second band up. Second band up is the Who.
The Who, yeah.
Who, the Mongolian band. If you're into rock and metal, you may have seen their videos on YouTube. They're up there. The HU, a bunch of Mongolian players playing all the weird instruments and doing a lot of chanting. It's going to be crazy, cool fun. And then, of course, after that, we'll be seeing
Mr. Dave Mustaine and the Mighty Megadeth.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing them more than I'm looking forward to seeing Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, I know nothing about Five
Legendary
Finger Death
Dave.
Punch,
Gotta see him. See if he's mean to everybody. He just seems.
What's the guy's name? It's like some freaking alien Zoltan. Something. What's the guy's name?
I'm not sure. But we'll
Zoltan
see.
Zoltan Bathory. That's the guy's name.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, what a goofball. But
I'm sure that's his given name, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but
But they're also on tour.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jeff.
What? Talk to me, man. I'm spacing
The Who.
out.
You're talking about the
Moving
Who.
on.
We're talking about the Who.
Yeah. I'll be darned. We talked about this too. You know, here they go again. They just can't have enough. They're going to be doing a 30-date North American tour. The Who.
30 days. 30 date. Wow.
30-date tour. Let's just say Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend. I'm not going to call them that. Jeez. We return to the road.
Well, that's all that's left. I mean,
the Who Hits Back tour. At least they still got half the original members, unlike some bands we've seen lately, if you know what I mean.
Foreigner.
Yeah, that's horrible. Ooh. Boom. Yeah, they really blew. But, well, they, you know what I mean. Yeah, they blew, but they did what they had to do. But, yeah, the Who, here we go.
Which, you know, a lot of people had to... Never mind.
Wait a minute. Here we go. Oh, for crying out loud. This is one of my pet peeves, Doc. I swear to God. As they were on their previously moving on tour, the Who will be joined on stage at each show by a local orchestra. Oh, Christ,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Gee, many creepers. That's one of my pet peeves when rock bands feel, you know, gosh, you know, we need to have an orchestra back us up. No,
because our music is so serious and needs that extra dimension, and
geez, you know, didn't Metallica do it right?
Yeah,
Metallica
they did that S&M thing, Symphony and Metallica S&M.
I don't get it. You know, really, leave the two genres alone. I tell you,
you know, to do a record like that or something is one thing, but to do a tour that way is, you know, is pretty pompous. I mean. That's Pete Townsend, though. I mean, you know, he's the father of the rock opera. You know, I mean, he's, you know,
maybe they should have a Dixieland band play along with them. I think that'd be cool. You know, hey, if you're gonna have a symphony, why not have a Dixieland band? You know, all the crazy shit that goes on there. I'm very familiar with Dixieland bands. Let me tell you, my dad was a big jazz player, so yeah, let's get them backing up the Who. That'd be cool. I just, you know, whatever, you know, the magnificent straight, you know, whatever.
Yeah, playing in the band, they got Townsend's kid, Simon. Simon likes to do drawings. they've got Simon Townsend, and then they've got Zach Starkey, who you may know as Ringo Starr's son.
And I will let me tell you, in the movie Tommy that the Who put out, the movie, Simon played the American rock star in a gold lame outfit looking like Frankenstein. That was Simon Townsend, just so you know. There's a little bit of trivia for you.
Okay.
Yeah. And that movie was horrible. But we'll get into there's another show segment for you.
Bad rock movies.
The Who Tommy. Oh, we'll go into that later though. We can't spoil it here because that'll be a good thing to look into, because I've actually got the when I went and saw the movie, they sold a real nice booklet about it, and I actually bought it. I gotta dig it out somewhere. So very excited about that. But here we go.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I told you the whole backstory, and yeah.
Oh yeah. It was a horrible movie directed by Ken Russell. It's just, but it did have Eric Clapton in it. So
Tina Turner.
They didn't go totally wrong. Tina Turner. Oh man. Crazy Arthur Brown. He was in it. Oh, he was in it. Yes, he was. But sure enough, geez, here we go. Just can't get enough with these tribute concerts. Now, Yes is apparently going to do a North American tour in the, what was it, 50th anniversary
of the Close to the Edge album. Yeah.
Right,
so another one of those, exactly. They'll go out and they'll perform the whole album, I'm sure, and scrape up what members they can find to go out on tour with.
I think they have two of them. I believe they have two members. They got Steve Howe, of course.
Okay.
You know, who's looking like the crypt keeper at this point? If you've
he has for a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He looked old when he was 20.
Yeah, right. He's just kind of one of those guys.
Yeah, and let me see who else we got going here. Steve Howe and Jeff Downs.
Jeff Downs.
Who was he the original keyboardist? I believe, right?
I don't think he was original. No, I'm not up on my total chronology, but I don't think he was the original guy.
but he was at some point. You know, he was one, and then
But
they
they were
got
both both Steve Howe and Jeff Downs were in Asia. Remember the band
there
Asia?
you go,
Yeah, that was
absolutely.
kind of that little offshoot band there in the early '80s.
Right, right, and they'll have John Davison singing lead vocals, or what's his name is not there.
Yeah,
John
John Anderson's
Anderson not
he's
there.
got his own version of Yes going on, right? He's touring with that somewhere, right? Or
Yes, he's
has in the
doing some
past
kind of
anyway.
thing. I thought he was in town a couple of months ago. He could have been.
Okay.
And Billy Sherwood, bass guitar. I've heard that name. Nah, I have to look it up, see what's up. Regardless, you know, jeez. Another band that, you know,
Yeah.
the key players, except for Howe, you know, the other key players, Chris Squire, Anderson, you know, jeez. And they're, you know, what do you do? It'll be interesting though. Good
I'm
for
sure
them, you
they'll
know.
sell mid-sized venues, and
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
do fine on it.
Gosh,
So
you know, yeah. I hope some of these cats come to next year's concert series. I'll tell you what, you know, I'm sort of excited on that to see what they bring us next year.
yeah,
Very excited because this year's just been crazy cool.
yeah.
So
So we
yeah,
just went to our 11th for me, 12th for you
right.
show for the summer. For those of this is your first time watching or haven't been keeping up with our happenings, we have season tickets for our local concert venue,
Oh yeah,
Tinley Park, Hollywood Casino, Amphitheater. We should work on them for free tickets for promoting them. We should work on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
We've had such a good time there, man.
it is really a great venue. The sound couldn't be better. And the
Yeah,
weather's been perfect every
yeah.
single night.
Every
And
show.
it's traffic has been, it's traffic is what it is, but they keep it pretty decent. So
Yeah,
it's a good place to go see a show for sure. Highly
it's,
recommend it.
yeah, yeah. So
So
that's very cool.
so we've seen been a lot of older classic rock bands,
Hmm.
Steely Dan, and oh god, we've seen
Chicago,
Chicago and Brian Wilson and a lot of older. And then it seems like
REO
later in
Stick.
the season, yeah, REO Sticks. We've seen a lot of those bands. So seems like later in the season here now we're kind of getting into some things on the harder side of rock.
Yes, we are.
Saw the last show we reviewed Rob Zombie, right? Or no, it was one before. I can't keep track anymore. Kid
I
Rock,
know
I know,
we're seeing so many of them. Yeah, Kid
but
Rock was the last one, but Wednesday
Wednesday,
with
yeah, went
oh
to
man,
Alice in
oh
Chains was the headliner, but
let me tell you,
yeah, I was impressed with
there he
some
is,
of the opening bands.
right there, man. That cat, right? Oh, no, that ain't him. That's Breaking Benjamin, for Christ's
Yeah.
sake. Where is he? He's right here. Gavin.
Well, the night
Oh,
started off.
Gavin.
We can back up for a minute. Start off with they had four bands.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was Alice in Chains was headlining, Breaking Benjamin, Bush, pictured, and a band called Life Project, which wasn't half bad. We kind of came in. I don't know, they were probably a couple songs in there set already as
Right.
we were
Yep.
walking in. It's Life is an acronym. Never did find out what that stood for, but it's Josh Rand. I don't know if you may know. He's the guitarist with a band called Stone Sour, who
Sure,
was
sure.
a side project of Slipknot's Corey Taylor. And it
Absolutely.
sounds like he's pretty much put the kibosh on that project. So
Hmm.
sounds like those members are looking for other things to do. And this guy picked up this female singer, Cassandra Carson.
Kicked ass.
Kind of got an Evanescence kind of a vibe kind of going to him a little bit. But yeah, good rocking band. Hope
Yep.
things work out for him. They kind of got things
Absolutely.
started off pretty good. So and then came Bush. So
Bush, unbelievable. You know, I didn't know what to expect, you know. Well, number one, I don't like their song Glycerin, but that's beside the point. That's fine. But boy, wow. They came out and man, they're rock stars, man. They are rock stars. They rocked that place hard and they gave us what I'm gonna probably consider uh one of the moments of the season, quite honestly. A couple of moments of the season. Do you want to
yeah,
expound or you want me to lay into it?
go right ahead, man.
Well, we're watching him play, and suddenly uh, 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 Gavin jumps into the audience. He starts walking out towards the lawn, you know, from the stage and through the pavilion, and he stops at the where the handicap the wheelchair folk are. And there was a young man, probably a teenager, maybe 20s, 20s or so, who probably had cystic fibrosis, or, you know, a cerebral palsy, I imagine, in a wheelchair.
Right.
Gavin goes right on up to him, sits right with him, singing along. He's singing along with Gavin. Did you
Yeah.
notice that?
Yeah.
He knew the
Yeah.
words.
Oh,
He
yeah.
knew
Yeah.
everything.
You knew the words. Yeah.
And he sat right there with him, did a full verse and a full chorus. I mean, it just, the shivers. Boom. There's a rock star right there. And no, that's not enough though. No. And then he heads to stage right, heads up into the lawn. We were stage left. He stage right, heads up into the lawn, still singing all the time. Got a couple of bodyguards with him, and it was amazing watching the crowd because it was like a swarm. The whole
It
lawn.
reminded me of like when Forrest Gump was running and how the people would gather behind him and just run along with them. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Yeah.
It was amazing. And then he goes up way high, then he comes along behind us way high, and he comes down lower into the lawn. And I'll be damned. Sure enough, I look to my left, and here he comes right down our aisle. Sure enough, whip out the hand, shake him as he comes by, shook your hand as he comes by, and heads on back down into the stage. It was, singing all the time, just wailing away with that voice of his, man. I mean, wow. What do you think about that one, Doc?
Yeah, it was quite
stunned.
Quite a thing to experience. He was that guy's in shape for sure, man. He did a lot of running up there, and it didn't even seem like he was even breathing hard a bit. Was very sweaty though when I gave him kind of one of these, kind of
he's working it.
Thumb handshake or whatever. I had Gavin Rossdale sweat all over me, ladies.
Ladies, back off now. Easy does it, one at a time.
And
so good.
For us, being up in the lawn, that's not something you're gonna expect to have. I've had that encounter with rock stars being up front before a couple of times, but to be up in the lawn, and like as Murph said, at first, okay, he's running, he's doing it, he did the thing with the kid, it was just awesome. You're like, cool, very cool. But then he's like, oh yeah, that's just the beginning of his journey, yeah. So he runs up and he's on the little pathway there between the seats and the lawn. And it's like, okay. But then he climbs up over the little wall there into the lawn. He's like, oh, wow. And things get a little more exciting and people are getting a little more. And I don't know if you caught it, but I look like Murph, he's coming right at us. And he comes, he kind of came behind us, and then he kind of did a U-turn to return to where he was at, and then he came right in front of us.
Unbelievable. I was freaked out. I'm trying to get my stupid me. I should have just taken a damn picture, but no. I got to try and get the video working. And it was too late. He come by.
If anybody's viewing this or listening to this podcast and you have video of that, we would be so pleased to get that. That'd be pretty cool. And there were folks around taking video, but
well, I saw one video.
Probably a needle in a haystack to find one of them, but you never know.
My daughter saw a video. She sent it to me. That was posted on the local, one of the local radio sites, but it was not a good video. It was the video was all over the place, and it didn't work out. So we'd love to see a video of that.
But even other than that, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it a stunt or whatever, but that's this is genuine, and I think it was just a cool thing to do.
It was just great.
But even besides that, he's a pretty damn good front man. He's
oh yeah, they're still on fire. Well, they shouldn't have been third. They should be backing up a headliner on this tour, on whatever tour. That I mean, and remember back in Woodstock '99.
That's right. They were the headliner.
They were the headliner. They headlined. Korn was opening for them.
Yeah, they headlined Friday night, the first night. That's
and it actually worked out very well because they, the crowd was about to go totally insane, and they sort of brought a little bit of, come on, let's just rock and roll. Let's not go insane.
Yeah, knowing that what we know that became of that festival, you kind of wonder if it just ended with Korn and everybody all amped up, what would have happened. But, nonetheless, great show. Gavin Rossdale, great front man. Went into the next band. Breaking Benjamin, who I know next to nothing about, and again another pretty decent frontman. Both of these guys, Gavin Rossdale is the only consistent member, and Breaking Benjamin, their frontman Benjamin Burnley is the only consistent member.
Man.
And not big time in them. A lot of drop D kind of stuff. You know, Murph can expound on here a little bit, but pretty decent front man. Really good stage banner. Good communication with the crowd. There just happened to be a lot of fans of theirs in our direct
Oh
vicinity,
yeah,
and so it kind of added a little bit to
singing
the
right
experience of
along,
that.
man.
Yeah, they
They were
sing every
singing right
words,
along.
and yeah, they were all getting into it. So
Yeah,
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 good show for sure.
yeah. There was a yeah. There the first half of our season, or, first half of our season was traditional rocker bands and whatnot do a lot of the standard tuning and whatnot. And the second half of the season, we're starting to see a lot of drop tuning, and one of the future episodes, I'm gonna do a demonstration on drop tuning, detuning, because there's probably people out there they hear drop tuning, they're not a musician, they don't know what we're talking about. So I'll do a demonstration. Uh, one of these shows coming up that will explain that pretty well. But so and then we came to the main thing.
Yeah, then we had the headliners, Alice in Chains, kind of came out,
Oh,
kind of did their thing. Never been a huge Alice in Chains guy. I mean, they had a couple tunes I like just fine, but you know, yeah,
yeah,
there
yeah,
they are.
yeah. Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell, legendary guitarist. He was getting a lot of cheers from the audience, a lot of chants. Jerry, Jerry,
Yeah, that's kind of
he's
cool.
very much loved. One of the original grunge bands for crying out loud.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
kind of one of the, I guess, elder statesmen of the scene at this point. I guess
absolutely.
kind of yeah.
You are absolutely
Um,
correct on that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I love him for no other reason. There's a story, and they were on tour, and it was the end of November, and they had a date on December 1st, and he didn't show up because he thought there were 31 days in November. I thought he had another day to
I
show up
still
for the
respect him because he
concert.
was out hunting, right?
He was out hunting. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, you
He
lose
was
all
on a
track of
hunting
time.
trip and thought he had one more day on the hunting
You
trip.
lose all track of that crap when you're out hunting. You're one with nature. So I understand that. I respect him for that. And
But,
of course, William Duvall replaced Lane Staley. Sadly passed, but they're a solid
yeah, no,
unit,
he was
man.
a pretty fair front man in his own right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yep, yep. Good band, a good concert, great crowd. Geez. Oh, I can't wait till our end of the season spectacular because we'll be able to talk about all the different crowds and whatnot. I mean, we've seen a lot this year, so it's been really eye opening and definitely a great night of rock and roll. Wednesday crowd, of course, it wasn't jam packed.
yeah,
It was
kind of a smaller crowd.
well, it was a good crowd for a Wednesday, and
Yeah,
being
yeah.
retired, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Can I imagine going to a concert on Wednesday night and having to get up early in the morning?
Yeah.
Jeez, I've been there and done it so many times. So
But
good for the people for showing up,
yeah,
showing
Alice in
Chicago
Chains kind
love.
of they've lost a couple members. Lost their bass player Mike Starr back in the early '90s,
Right,
and Mike Inez has been with them ever since. And then of
rocking
course, like we
good,
said with
man.
William Duvall, is this like one of those actors like Robert Duvall, William Duvall? It sounds like it should be.
There you go, man. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. But it was a good quality show. Good Wednesday night crowd. Chicago's been showing their love to everybody this year. Out there in Tinley Park. I mean, they're really appreciative of all these bands showing up. It's been
yeah.
just a stellar,
Yeah,
freaking
even
stellar.
shows that we didn't, thought were on the lacking side, I suppose, still got good
Re-
reception by the fans. So, yeah,
Absolutely, it's been great. And then, of course, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, boom! Saturday we showed up at Tinley Park once again for the Sammy Hagar, George Thorogood. George Thorogood being the opener. Oh,
yeah.
let's whip him up here. Where is that?
Oh, Lonesome
There he
George.
is, right
Yeah,
there. Good old George. His slide guitar right there. He uses his white.
yeah.
He tunes it to an open E, and he grabs the slide and just goes nuts on that. That's
That's
probably a
what
white
George Thorogood
Falcon.
does. Yeah.
That's a Gretsch White Falcon there. That's a really great guitar. And boy, oh boy, old George. You know,
Yeah, that's a rock
wasn't
and roll show, man. You know exactly what you're gonna get with George Thorogood. You know, it's
bingo.
gonna be songs about drinking and kicking ass and crazy ex-girlfriends or whatever. And
He
he's not
gave
gonna
us
slip a ballad in on you or anything like that.
That's
He's
right.
gonna,
He gave us exactly what we expected. A rock and rolling good time. No BS, no crap. Just a good hard rocking set, man. And
like I
yeah,
said, he played for an hour and did what, 5 songs? No, it was just more than that. But
a little
yeah,
more than that,
yeah,
but
he
but
kind of tended to go on a little bit. But
oh yeah,
he's
yeah.
jamming, he's
He
rocking out.
extended each song, and yeah,
But he did
it
all the
just
big hits. He did all
true.
his.
Oh, of course, and he had more hits than you might think too. Some people, one hit. No. He had
Uh,
at least a handful of really great hits, and yeah,
uh,
that took up the whole set because he would extend them a little bit. But that's George Thorogood, man. He's a rock and roller having a good time. He's got to be
and
having a time of his life. A quality band
shame
behind
on
him.
me for yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to go into. Shame on me for not looking it up. But boy, it seemed like those guys have been playing together for a really long time.
Oh yeah. You can tell they're real comfortable with each other, and good for George, man. Good for him for still rocking. A really, really impressive show for the old geezer.
And just what a great pair too to be going on the road with Sammy Hagar. Just two party bands and just two party guys, and kind of built their reputation on just partying and drinking, and
Oh, and here he is, the Red Rocker.
Oh yeah, the ageless wonder.
74 years old, but he might as well be 35.
Yeah, he's 75 in 2 months in October.
My gosh. Yeah, it's good old Sammy. I'll tell you. I saw him back. I actually saw him when he was playing with Montrose. It was a triple bill at the Aragon Brawl Room in Chicago. And actually, Montrose was the opening band, the third band. It was Montrose, I believe, Blue Oyster Cult, and Rush. And boy,
that would have been what, 70? What?
Oh,
3?
70. No. I was out of high school. It would have been like 75 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 75, I'll bet. But the Aragon Brawl Room was legendary in Chicago for bringing, three band classic shows. Some of the shows I've seen, my gosh. But yeah, I've seen him way back then, and of course he's had his incredible solo career, and of course the legendary Van Halen singer. I mean, he has such a catalog of music to pull from, and he did just that. Quite honestly, you pointed something out to me that was sort of surprising. He actually did, I believe, more Van Halen songs than he did his original stuff.
Solo, yeah, I think so. Yeah, he came out. And I like this too. Sammy's obviously he's a professional, man. He's been doing this for a long time, man.
Yeah, since the 70s.
Came out, and it was new band, The Circle, which consists of a bass, Michael Anthony, with Van Halen. Jason Bonham's a drummer, and a guy Vic Johnson, who's just a freaking awesome guitar player.
Oh yeah, this guy, very cool.
And so they have an album out called Crazy Times. And that's what they opened with. They opened with the title track, "Crazy Times." Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, let's represent our new album, but we know that's not what the fans are here for. Then we can kind of get on with the concert. So I thought it was kind of a good way to do it. And then the way they closed was there was no encore. He didn't go through any of that kind of bullshit. Yep. They closed. They had a video, a new video they put on the screen. So
right.
But in between. Great rocking time, man. Like I said, Sammy knows how to put on a show.
He sure does, man. He's something else, and he play a lot of his original stuff, but an awful lot of Van Halen, which people really appreciated. And I will say, it doesn't matter. They had to detune everything, of course, because the voice he can't get way high anymore. But boy, was it a great show.
What was the song? Oh, the Van Halen, How Do I Know When It's Love? There's some high notes in there where,
even
the voice didn't quite get up. Yeah, didn't quite get there, but
he still put on a solid show. He hit all the notes otherwise.
One thing I noticed with Sammy, I've seen him before. I've seen him a couple. I saw him with Van Halen,
Right.
and I saw him solo at in local Rib Fest. Oh gosh, 10, 12 years ago now, probably.
Sure.
But he signs a lot of stuff on stage.
Boom. Oh.
People throw up hats, T-shirts, and at first, there were like jerseys, like baseball jerseys, and he would put them on and then take them off and sign them and throw them back, and it was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. And then another item would come up, and then a hat would come, and then before you know it, I mean, it was just constant. I mean, it was like almost like that was more his focus than singing almost. But obviously, he's a pro, and he can do them both at the same time. But
Sure.
But, yeah, it was quite the thing to watch. I mean, some of the stuff that was going to, I mean,
Well,
you know,
when I saw somebody throw up a Playtex living bra, I thought that's where I need to draw the line. Come on already.
that's what a man that knows his bra is right there for.
For Playtex living bra. Yeah, but you're right though. It was amazing, and that's obviously, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's unique to his show because we haven't seen anything like that at all. And it was.
I've seen Bruce will take some items on stage and he'll like put on a hat or something, or put on a jersey. Something. I've never seen him stop to sign anything, or maybe, but not to that extent. No way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
all night long.
I bet there was 100 items. I bet easy.
And that must be his thing. So more power to him. Obviously he's expecting it. So it was a cool time. It was a great show.
Another cool part of the show, I thought, like I said, they didn't do any encores, didn't really take any breaks, weren't any really solos or anything. The only time Sammy took a couple breaks and let Michael Anthony do lead vocals.
Yes, on some Van Halen
and on Van Halen Ain't Talking About Love. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was very cool. Why not? Why not, for crying out loud? Give Sammy a break, let him go back there, have a margarita,
kind of a pay tribute. I was young then. Michael said, "This one's for you, Eddie," kind of before he started, and so it was kind of a cool.
The whole night was basically for Eddie. It really was. Everybody showed their appreciation. It was just a great time, and gladly, the last time I saw Sammy in Chicago was like 3 years ago or so. Anthony was just wasted. And being a musician, I could hear the mistakes and whatnot. He was not wasted Saturday night, man. He was sharp as hell. So, boy, there was just a classic, a legendary show. Very cool. So, like I said, we're 3-4 weeks away from our last show of the season, which sort of sucks. We could go see some country stars, which are playing from now to the end of September, but we'll pass because it's just not our genre.
Yeah,
the rock and roll geezers. We're not
the country geezers.
So we won't be
That's
seeing that.
Other...
Oh, and another thing, if I may, I mentioned that. Thank you, my friend. We mentioned that we're going to be trying to get on some podcast sites here. Remember, I talked about that. Well, we've really gone overboard, folks. Let me lay on the list. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Pocket Casts, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player FM, Podcast Index, Overcast, Castro, Castbox, and Podfriend. So, Doc, I think we pretty much covered the podcast.
Hope
universe.
So. Hopefully, we can say available wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. And, of course, our video cast can be found on YouTube and Rumble. So we're trying to cover the whole universe of
trying to spread the word for sure. Got some friends, family members, neighbors, whatnot, that co-workers, someone that might enjoy a couple old guys talk about rock and roll. Hey, let them know tune in and check us out, and like I said, help spread the word. So pretty much as you see our format from week to week, we kind of let you know what's going on with the news of the week, our favorite rock stars, and then if we've enjoyed a concert or two that week, we'll kind of let you know what happened at those events. And then we kind of have a little topic that we like to discuss, just random, topics that come to us throughout the week that I think might make an interesting topic to talk about.
Absolutely.
And so we were, excuse me, we're talking about uncredited musicians on albums.
How about
A lot of times you listen to albums and you may be listening to a musician that you know and love and you don't even know it. For different reasons. Sometimes they're just kind of like guest things and it's contractual with other labels. They don't want you over there and that kind of thing going on. Sometimes they're not even known yet. There's cases, young 16-year-olds that went on to bigger things playing on records and stuff. So
right?
I thought we would get into that a little bit. I think one that a lot of people know is Eric Clapton on the Beatles, "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
Boom.
I think most people know that one. But the story behind that, we won't go too much into it. There's tons of Beatles documentaries out there and all that kind of stuff about it. But yeah, so George wrote the song and got his friend, who later would take his wife, steal his wife, but to guest spots on there. And Harrison did some guest spots on some Cream albums too. On Badge, he was on there, and he was credited. Well, he wasn't uncredited. He was credited as L'Angelo Misterioso. So if you see that credit on the Cream album, that's George Harrison. So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then of course we have Alice Cooper with Teenage Lament '74. Nobody knows about. Everybody's heard this song, but nobody knows about the backstory on that. Everybody's familiar with Liza Minnelli. Well, she was a backup singer on that, for Christ's sakes. The Pointer Sisters.
Wow.
LaBelle, the group, they were all backup singers on this. And there's plenty of pictures of Alice Cooper and Liza Minnelli online. I mean, it's the oddest. That
was 74. You remember that time it was kind of in vogue to kind of hang around with Alice Cooper. I don't know if you ever saw that picture where he's with Edith Bunker. They're like at Studio 54 or somewhere. I don't know.
She's like an S&M. She's like a
mistress, dominatrix or something. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Those were crazy times back then. But yeah, he had all these.
But Liza Minnelli, what an odd. This is 74. What was she? That was when she was doing like cabaret and stuff. That was
right.
When that was.
So if you hear Teenage Lament, you'll hear the backing vocals. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Tell you what I'm gonna do. That's Liza Minnelli, the Pointer Sisters, and LaBelle. How crazy is that? Jeez, it's like speaking of that, real quickly. Tina Turner. I don't believe she was credited for singing backup for Frank Zappa.
No, that's another one. Yeah.
No. It's funny too. Yeah, because she must have been, maybe not struggling, but looking for side work back then, because Frank Zappa needed some singers, and Tina Turner was one of them, and he paid her scale. I believe scale was like $75 an hour, and she had
no. It was much less. It was like $25 an hour.
Oh, did she get paid like $175, $180?
Yeah, but that was for like an 8-hour day, though. Yeah.
So there you go, Tina Turner working for Frank Zappa.
Yeah, that was on the Overnight Sensation and Apostrophe sessions.
His best albums, as far as
his best album, absolutely. And he kind of called the local agency or whatnot and said, I need backup singers, and they sent him over, and it was Tina Turner and Ike Etz, man, and
Wow. Thankfully, Ike didn't show up. Frank might have had to kick his ass. Jeez, what a douche. Cripes almighty. So what do you got? You got
one of my favorite ones was Paul McCartney was on a Beach Boys album.
What?
After Pet Sounds,
Okay.
That's when Brian Wilson really started kind of getting woohoo way out there, and he was working on a project called Smile.
Right.
And it came out later, but it was not the big thing that he had first envisioned. It was much scaled back. But then there was a song in there about vegetables, about eating your vegetables. And if you listen to the song, there's somebody like crunching along. I don't know, it sounds like a stick of celery or something.
Yeah.
Crunching along to the beat of the song, and that's Paul McCartney. Wow. he was
How
asked
cool
to
is
be on
that?
the he's asked to be on the Beach Boys album. He's all excited about it. He's like, "Well, you're a vegetarian, Paul. Here, crunch on this celery to the beat of this song, and you're yeah." So
Can I go off on a tangent?
yeah.
South Park, they had South Park, George Clooney wanted to be on South Park. He wanted to be one of the characters.
Oh
He
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to do some stuff. And so they allowed him to be on the South Park episode, but he was a dog. And all they would let him do is bark.
Yeah,
So
that was one of
George
the real
Clooney,
early episodes, right? Yeah, that was like
yeah,
the first season,
George
I think.
Clooney barking. That's all. Yeah, starring George Clooney. Clooney is the barking dog. So yeah, okay, back to business here. What do you got
Yeah,
there?
no, there's a lot I'm kind of looking on here. A lot of people know Jimmy Page was a session guy
Yes, he was. Yeah,
before he got with the Yardbirds and stuff, and was on a lot of albums, a lot of songs, a lot of records.
sure.
Two of the ones you might be surprised by, he was on Tom Jones. It's Not Unusual.
Oh my
That's Jimmy
gosh!
Page on that, and he's also on Donovan, Sunshine Superman.
Oh, for crying out loud!
So
No way!
yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
darned. Those are
So
great songs.
same
Sunshine
with
Super.
Hendrix did a lot of session work too, but nothing of real note. There wasn't any hits that we'd be familiar with.
Right.
A lot of blues stuff, kind of stuff. But
I'll be darned. I'm still freaking out about Donovan. Wow. How cool is
another
that?
one, early on doing session work is Billy Joel. And
Really?
when he was
Ah.
16, he was on the Shangri-Las, Leader of the Pack.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So there's a classic for you for sure.
Oh, that's a
And
great song.
oh yeah.
I love the
yeah.
oldies so much. The
Oh yeah,
60s.
young 16-year-old Billy Joel,
Oh boy, I'll be
having it
darned.
tickling the ivories there.
How cool is that?
Just a couple of them that caught my eye. I'm sure there's countless instances of this throughout history, but Alanis Morissette, You Ought to Know, her big breakthrough hit that we're all familiar with. On guitar is Dave Navarro.
Really?
Yeah, Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction.
I'll be darned.
What else?
She had a famous guitarist touring with her. Was it Dave Navarro did a tour with her? Or?
I'm not aware.
I'll have to look that up. Okay.
One of my favorite ones, and you always hear these stories of how bands, we were recording and so and so was in the studio next door, and we decided, come on over and do this and whatnot. So, an instance of this back in the '70s, if you remember, Cheech and Chong actually had a couple radio hits. And one of them was Basketball Jones. Basketball Jones.
Ooh.
And recording in the studio next door at the time was George Harrison. And so George Harrison is on that record. Who else is on there? Oh my God, we got a whole list of folks here. Let me see here. Carole King is on that record.
What?
Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh my God.
Billy Preston.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, a whole bunch of folks.
I can see George. Hey, you're a bunch of stoners. You two look like stoners. I want to come and jam with you. Can I do that? Ring.
Yeah, we're working on a song called Basketball Jones. And Cheech's name for that song, it was Tyrone Shoelaces. Was his name for that one?
That was a great album. Their first album, Cheech and Chong. That was back in the '70s, and that was back in my prime. And we got a big kick out of that. Yeah. I'll be darned, Basketball Jones. Geez.
Here's before the Cheech's song. Remember in the first movie, Up in Smoke, when they were at the Battle of the Bands at the end of the movie.
That's right.
And they're doing dun 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 dun. That song. What was the name of their band?
Oh gosh. Alice Bowie.
Alice Bowie. Ding ding. We have a winner.
That's right, with the tutu, man. Yeah,
Alice Bowie. That's right. And the song was entitled "Earache My Eye." Was the name of the song. So
that was very cool. What a cool movie. What a stoner movie that was. Jeez. And then after that, after Cheech and Chong, after they're Up in Smoke, it's like they tried to keep going, and nope. Yeah. It's like you can't reheat a souffle, man. The first movie is the best, even though the second movie does have Pee Wee Herman in it. But
I think it was like the third one. If I remember
the third one?
Whatever it was.
At that point, it went to hell. So who really cares?
But just a couple other ones people might be more familiar with. John Lennon is on David Bowie fame. There's some
I'll be
backstory
darned.
that goes with that. Mick Jagger is on Carly Simon, You're So Vain.
Well, yeah, I think everybody sort of knew that
Yeah,
from
yeah,
back in the
that's a
day.
more
Yeah.
kind of well-known one. Here's one. Tina Turner, Private Dancer. Guitar. Jeff Beck was
No
on that record.
kidding.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I
Pretty
did
crazy.
not know that either. I know.
I did not know
Wow.
that.
I'll be darned.
Werewolves of London, Warren Zevon song.
Right?
Had Mick Fleetwood and John McVie of Fleetwood Mac were
Fleetwood
both
Mac.
on that record, and Jackson Brown was on that
I'll
record.
be darned.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
And they
I can
didn't get.
see Jackson Brown as all that kind of Laurel Canyon kind of community, kind of, I'm sure they were on each other's records and stuff, but
So
the
these people
Fleetwood
weren't
Mac
credited
guys.
though, right? They weren't
No, correct.
credited.
Yeah, totally uncredited, right?
Wow. How cool is that?
And just lastly, I guess one of my favorite ones. You remember back in when was it, '77? I want to say when the Mighty Kiss decided to do solo albums,
Yeah.
and each of the members of Kiss did their own solo album. And
Uh,
as we talked about with Alice Cooper, it was kind of in vogue to hang out with Alice Cooper. Well, it was kind of the same thing with Gene Simmons at the time.
sure.
And if you remember, he was dating Cher, and he was dating Diana Ross, and he was kind of
He
But
was throwing the meat around, if you
so
will.
yeah, he had some folks on his solo album that were uncredited. Cher was one of them.
Oh my!
So you can kind of understand that. But then Bob Seger.
No kidding.
Yeah, Bob Seger's on there. Rick Nielsen, Cheap Trick was on
Holy
there.
cow!
I can kind of see that because they toured together. I think Cheap Trick opened for them early on. I remember.
Okay.
Kiss was kind of helpful getting them guys going.
Cool.
But he also had Joe Perry.
Okay.
Joe Perry's on
Aerosmith
there.
legend.
Helen Reddy. Remember Helen Reddy?
Yeah, she is woman. Hear her roar.
Hear her roar.
That's
and
right.
Donna Summer.
Ooh, yeah.
So I can kind of see Donna Summer. They were on the same label. They were on the Casablanca label. So
Hot stuff.
actually a little bit
Yeah.
of that. But another one was a young up and coming singer, actress kind of that Gene had a fling with for a while, and then that didn't last for a short time.
Yeah.
Young Katie Seagal.
Well, no kidding.
Yeah,
Steven
Katie
Seagal's sister.
No.
Katie Seagal.
What's no?
what?
She's married with children, and
That's Steven Seagal's sister. Yeah.
No, are they?
No, you don't know that.
So.
You don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Okay, okay. You keep talking. I'm gonna look it up right here.
All right. But but nonetheless, be that as it may, whether she's Steven Seagal's sister or not, I think they even spell it different. I think he's S-E-G.
You keep talking. I'm gonna look.
I think he's S-E-G-A-L and she's S-A-G-A-L.
Stop it.
I think they even spell it differently, man.
Katie.
But all right, I'll keep talking. I got a couple other ones. I guess we can go over here.
American actor. Do it.
Glenn Fry was on Bob Seger, Ramblin' Gambling Man.
That sort of makes sense, though.
Kind of yes, but no, because neither one were really known at that time. Glenn Fry wasn't part of the Eagles. He wasn't even, hanging out with Linda Ronstadt or anything at that point. But nonetheless, he got on Bob Seger's album some kind of way. Elton John was on Jackson Brown's Redneck Friend. Let me introduce you to my redneck friend. Elton John's also on T-Rex, Bang and Gone. So yeah, Elton kind of popped up on albums.
You are correct, sir. She is not his brother or sister or whatever.
If we could just accept that as a given, we could save so much time.
Steven Seagal, God, his movies are so horrible. I saw the one the other day where he's up in Alaska or whatever, and Michael Caine is gonna drill oil and ruin the whole thing, and it's just what a schmaltzy son of a gun. He could kick my ass out. He could kick a lot of asses.
Not anymore.
I bet he still could, but his movies are such crap.
Nonetheless,
so horrible. Oh, okay. Enough of this stuff. Well, freaking A, Doc. Been a great show, man. I'm glad I got through it. I feel like crap, but the power of the margarita, man, it's undeniable. So freaking A, I'm glad to have done it. I think it's a pretty cool show, man. And we got 3 more weeks till our next concert, which sort of blows. Maybe we can catch something between then. But it's been a great time, man. And thanks a lot for sharing it. Thanks for everybody. Be sure to, if you can, subscribe on our YouTube or Rumble. We're on Rumble also. So, and we're
Yeah,
on
please encourage our behavior. Let us know you're out there.
absolutely
Podcast. I'm kind of digging
bingo.
the podcast thing. It's just on your way and commuting back and forth to work or whatever, just hanging out in the
Sure.
garage or whatever. Just listen to us old guys talk about rock and roll and
Absolutely.
comment, share your thoughts.
Our first 21 episodes are on YouTube and Rumble, and our podcasts. We only got a couple of 20 and 21 up now, but if you want to hear some original, the first 21 head on over to YouTube. But yeah, we're on all the podcast platforms, so we're good to go. So thanks again, Doc, for stopping by, man. Having a good time with me. We'll see you next time on the Rock and Roll
Oh yeah.
Geezers show.
Have a great rock and roll filled week, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.